Ladies and gentlemen, good day to all of you. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. Now, in international news, President Volodymyr Zelensky has just made a turnaround on the nearly completed agreements concerning rare earths in Ukraine, an agreement that leads to conclusion with the United States of America, since you know the American president, Donald Trump, is a businessman. He is a man who loves business. And this time, he decided to do business with Ukraine and to ensure the return of the colossal amounts that you, the Biden administration, sent, uselessly according to him, to Ukraine. So thank you. To recover this amount, Donald Trump planned to obtain rare earths in Ukraine that America will exploit. Donald Trump didn't even stop there. He also expressed his desire to move forward towards the requisition, if we can say so, of all Ukrainian energy infrastructures. Since he said, well, when we exploit the rare earths, we will need electricity, energy, etc. So, it would be necessary for all energy infrastructures to come under America's responsibility. America will take that. When he expressed the desire, Vladimir Zelensky agreed. Since the guy is after money, he wants to enrich himself as much as possible before leaving power. In fact, he doesn't even want to leave power. So, Zelensky had agreed. But since the Europeans are troubled, more than 20 extraordinary meetings, 20 extraordinary summits, meetings upon meetings organized by the Europeans, they managed to put another kind of idea into Zelensky's head. I don't know if we should say they put another kind of idea into Zelensky's head, since Zelensky was already prepared for that. Zelensky's personal interest is that he doesn't want to leave power. Since, if peace returns, he leaves power. If those agreements succeed, he leaves power. And if he leaves power, what does he gain? Nothing. It's his people who will gain. But he personally, his interest intersects. He gains nothing. So, what does Zelensky do? He has his personal agenda. Pretend to agree with Donald Trump. What to generate enthusiasm so that Donald Trump sends the money. It's the colossal amount that he's waiting for. If he gets that and manages to take his share, well, he might consider to what extent he can relinquish power. But Donald Trump is very clever. Up until now, he is modifying the terms of the agreement at every moment. Zelensky has his agenda. Europe, knowing Zelensky's agenda, also has its own agenda. Europe has no interest at all in the conflict in Ukraine coming to an end. It has been said repeatedly, we will never stop saying it, we will reiterate it at every moment. Europe wants the conflict to continue. Since Europe has another plan, Europe's plan is that Russia is there, it's a monster that must be crushed, removed, erased from the map. Of Europe, it's the only monster that bothers Europe. So, Europe wants to wage war against Russia. But there needs to be a puppet that can serve as a front, or as bait to continue the war or wage this war on Europe, at least on Russia. So, Europe's hidden interest aligns with Zelensky's hidden interest. Zelensky's hidden interest aligns with Europe's hidden interest. But Donald Trump's hidden interest does not align entirely with Zelensky. It does not align at all. With Europe, here is the difficult equation. So, Europe has therefore sought to implement strategies to put obstacles in the way of these negotiations, of these agreements that are being planned for the return of peace in Ukraine. Among these agreements, one of the most crucial is the agreement on rare earths in Ukraine. It is on this basis that Donald Trump decides to get involved. All these ups and downs, meetings in Riyadh, in Genesee, where this agitation of America, the real objective is this. It is how to ensure that the agreement is concluded. We first remember, in the first position, Ukraine had refused. Ukraine had outright refused to sign these agreements on rare earths during a conference in Brussels. So, here is the focal point. Europe has put ideas into Zelensky's head, which also suit him. They said they will support him. They are multiplying meetings, making statements, they need to rearm, etc. So what does Zelensky say? Zelensky makes this turnaround. Share the video conference as much as possible. Share. Give it a lot of likes. So Zelensky makes a turnaround. And in this turnaround, Zelensky says he will not go to Washington. He will not go to Washington. He will not negotiate in Washington. In any case, for now, he does not want to go to Washington. So, in this revelation, Zelensky says he will not go to Washington. He says he will not go to Washington because Zelensky is complaining. He then complains about the rare earth agreement between the United States of America and Ukraine. He claims he is not ready. That he is not ready. He says that the general conditions are constantly being changed. Here is the strength of Donald Trump. He sits down in the evening and thinks, well, what we have stopped there, does it suit me? Does it suit me? America, etc. As soon as he sees that it doesn't work, he writes something. He sends it to Gidevans, his vice president, who is very, very active. The latter also sends to say, well, such a general condition has just been modified. So, the constant, repeated, regular modification of the general conditions is affecting Zelensky. But it suits him, since Zelensky he does not want the conflict to end. That's one. But the constant modification of the general conditions, it suits him because it delays things and the conflict continues. He continues to receive money. But what also bothers him is that he would like everything to be stopped, everything to be settled, so that he receives the money there so he can start spending. It's been too long since he had a lot of money. So, Zelensky believes he is not afraid of any form of negotiation. He is ready for all kinds of negotiations. He says that Putin is not ready for direct negotiations, and he places the responsibility on Vladimir Putin. He believes that the latter is not ready for direct negotiations. So, here's what Zelensky says. Normally, he should be in Washington in the coming days to meet with American authorities and thus find there is a final agreement. But unfortunately, Zelensky does not have this desire at all. He does not want to. He says he will not go to Washington. So, he is still sulking, as he had done at the White House in the Oval Office. And since this is international diplomacy, they will meet, they will talk, they will talk. The Europeans will also intervene. And then finally, they will understand each other. They will go to Washington and then they will finalize the matter. But it seems that Zelensky himself no longer likes going to the Oval Office, given what he recently experienced in the Oval Office. He might prefer to be on neutral ground, in neutral territory, because if it's neutral territory, what Donald Trump and his team allowed themselves to do towards him, they won't do it. That's obvious. And so, here is the situation at hand. As long as there are zigzags like this, back and forth, uncalculated turnarounds, Zelensky is very happy, since his entire goal is to continue holding on to power. He is in complete illegality, total illegitimacy, since what period? Since last year. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the highlight of international news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. That was the voice of your one and only samurai.